Here we have a 16 by 20. This is a canvas panel. And these are the colors that are going to be used. We have the yellow, green, crimson, red. Over here we have some blue. This is another, okay, this is the crimson, ivory black, and this is bright red. Well, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see, but you can see the color. And the husband is going to do in abstract using a palette knife. Okay, so the painting is being started, and as you can see, these are basics paint put out by Liquitex, and I'm told that I'm going to do strips of paint. And watch your sleeve there, dear.
I'm trying to.
You're going to have a purple shirt.
Yeah, we're going to here. We're going to do
Better.
these.
Okay. So right here in this little strip we have red with blue, because, well, purple, you know. And then we have some blue there. And are you going to just do like strips with all these colors?
Yeah.
Okay. What's on the canvas so far is sort of like a forest green, some yellow, the red and the blue, which are, see that side by side. And the canvas has all these strips, just the tube, it was squeezed right out of the tube.
Yep.
And you're going to use a palette knife?
Going to.
I think just have to be careful you don't muddy up these colors.
Yeah, well, that's the trick.
So
what we're going to do is just start right back here. And just go very lightly.
Oh, that's beautiful right there. I like that. The green seems to be a bit overpowering.
Yeah.
But you're getting some nice things going on down there.
Yeah, the green always does.
Yeah, the green seems to be very... It's funny how greens and blues, they can really overpower the rest of the colors very quickly.
Yeah, just kind of like color it in. Yeah.
And he's using an offset palette knife. Palette knives come in all kinds of sizes and shapes. This kind of looks like, I did a painting once, it was a pour, and I did not like the way it looked, and I scraped it off, and this is kind of what it looked like underneath.
Accident painting.
Yes, actually it came out beautiful. I wiped the paint off with a paper towel, and it ended up being a beautiful sky. Oh, look how you got the yellow back. That's a surprise. This out of the way. Yeah, you see right here how it's almost like a staining of the canvas, and I really like that effect. A little bit less. This down here too looks pretty neat. Right there. Yeah, you had so much more blue and red, and yet green it is so much the
Dominates.
dominant color, yeah.
It
So,
dominates.
so if you're doing a painting like this, you may want to go very light-handed on the green.
Well, you can always put more paints on top of it.
Well, that's true. That's true. This is also a nice way to do a very soft background and then do something more realistic, because then it will look like a photograph with the background slightly blurred. And if you did flowers or a bird or something, it would look like that was the close-up thing. Like a, what do they call it? Photorealism painting. Look, when you scrape it, you get the colors underneath. It's like the yellow and blue and red stain the canvas, but the green stays on top. This almost looks like you made a plaid right here.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Well, there. Now, are you done, or are you going to do something else with it?
No, that's
okay. Part 1, huh?
Yeah, that's just getting it. To
I know
have
you
something.
like the whole canvas covered, no white showing at all.
Well, that's
Now, there's the whole thing together.
abstractors that leave white are considered to be insane geniuses. So I'm not quite an insane genius.
Well, I don't know why. That would just be part of the abstract. I mean, whether you left it or not,
Yeah,
that's just the style that somebody would have.
Leaving white spots is like, you know, the.
Well, as somebody who does watercolor more than acrylics, we have to leave white in order to show the white on the
put some
painting.
White over here.
Okay, so we're using Basics again by Liquitex. This is a really nice set. They're not, I mean, I'm not saying they're cheap, but they're not incredibly expensive like some paints can
Some
be.
of the stuff can be very expensive.
Yeah, oils are far more, they are extremely expensive compared to acrylics.
Well, these days oils are quite a bit more affordable.
Acrylics are more than watercolor paints, but watercolor paints can go on forever. I am still like using my first set from like 20 years ago. Okay, so now there's white on the palette knife, and we're doing stripes. So it's interesting with the palette knife, you can be putting paint on, but at the same time you're scraping what's underneath since this is still wet. I'll get you a shot from above here.
Yeah, with the novel too, I'll probably not put as much green on. As it dries.
The one nice thing about acrylics, you can water them down and they work like watercolor, or you could use them straight from the tube, and there's actually some texture on here, just as if they were oils.
Right.
If you're using them thick, you want to just leave it for a long time to dry, and even if it looks dry on top, the underneath could still be wet. Better to just leave it for 48 hours at least. But the other one, the pour you did the other day, it took like 3 days to dry.
Well, that
it
was insanely wet.
Yes, it was very, very wet. Where is that one? Oh, it's behind there.
Well, oh yeah, the other one.
Alright, I'm going to take you over here. Take you over here. See? Well, this is one that was done the other day. Kind of the same way. But this pour behind here. This one. Okay, this one also, we had a tragic accident with the ski jacket and paint all over it. Luckily, was able to come off. But this, because there was so much, what did you use, Floetrol or the...
that one I used a pouring medium.
Okay.
On it.
Okay, yeah, this took a good 3 days to dry, and especially, it was this area right here with the yellow. The yellow got a little, gloppy, I guess, I'm going to use a technical term. Yellow does that. It'll either be very thin or gloppy, and that area took at least the 3rd day to dry. And there's another one, and that one I really like.
That one.
Okay, so we're coming back. Here it is from the other side now. It's getting interesting.
Not done yet.
Getting interesting. I like it when you can see the red and blue underneath in these areas here. It really does. It reminds me of taking you back over here. Hang on. Going back over here. It kind of reminds me of a tartan plaid. Now we're putting on black.
Yep.
Black also is a very overwhelming color. I've tried doing pours with black, and it just takes over the entire painting. So that was another painting that I used paper towel to scrape off, and the underneath looked really nice, and so I actually was able to use the canvas and made a painting out of it. Let me go show you. And come over here. This is the painting I did. I wanted the sky to look kind of like nebulas and all kinds of things in space, and it didn't come out good at all, so I dabbed everything off with paper towel, but I liked the underneath, so I used it. Then just spritzed some white on there for the stars. This is the sky that I did a pour, and I didn't like it, so I scraped it off, and I had this lovely, lovely sunrise type sky underneath here, so I was very pleased with that. Back to the painting. Okay. Whenever he does one of these paintings, I always kind of look for something in it. This is obviously going to be some kind of tropical forest. I'll be finding trees and plants in this one. Most of the ones I always see water, some kind of waterfall or something, but this will be some kind of tropical forest. That looks like maybe a tornado that's upside down from my
side. How wet do you want me to make this one? How wet do you want to make this?
It could stay on the table, for as long as it takes.
As long as it takes, she says. Okay. Well, that's my background.
Okay.
So now we're gonna.
Now you're gonna what?
We're gonna do kind of like a pour on top of it. Wow.
Okay, so this is actually on top of a plastic drop cloth, which we may have to pull up the sides, because if there's going to be a pour on top of this, paint's going to come over the sides, I think.
I'm not going to do it that crazy.
No, well...
Yeah, I won't think so, but maybe. Who knows? Well, I can't really get...
Alright, what I'm going to shut this off for a minute while we're getting the pour stuff ready, because that's just boring. Well, the pouring process has begun. Right now, he's just taking the extra that was in the white and sort of just plopped it right there on the painting. And we have red. I think this is the crimson. Oh, you never want to waste even like one little drop of paint.
I don't.
No. I do that myself.
Well, a little bit, but
sometimes I have a small extra canvas ready so that if I have excess paint I can just like put it on there and begin another painting.
Call this a beautiful mess.
Here's the blue. I tried, as you can see I have a little Dixie cup there holding up the plastic drop cloth. I have a feeling this is going to go all over the place. You know what this reminds me of? My dad's drop cloths.
Hmm.
My dad was a house painter, and the drop cloths would sometimes have every color that he had painted would be on the drop cloths.
Yeah. Maybe you want to color the edges.
Yeah, right now, because it's a canvas pattern, you can see the sides are not painted. You could always paint that. You could paint it like black later,
Yeah.
too, and then it would look like a frame almost. So there's the, and you see globby yellow, that it's just something with yellow paint. And I don't know if it's because we have the, like, not top of the line paint, or if it's just something that happens with all types of yellow paint, but it has always happened with me, that the yellow just gets globby.
Yes.
And if it doesn't get globby, it doesn't cover very well.
Yes,
So I don't know what it is with yellow.
Right.
That's why it's,
We give this a little bit of a stir.
what I usually do is take yellow and mix it with a little white, and then that way it's thicker. Okay, this is the pour cup. Let's take a look inside the pour cup. There's all the colors, which were red, blue, white, and yellow mixed in there. And here it goes.
We're just kind of going to drizzle it down.
Well, that's interesting. Go in there. Look at that. That's really pretty. Oh, too bad it won't stay like that.
It might.
Because that's really pretty.
It might. You want it to stay like that? You can make it stay like that.
I really like that. The blue and the white. That looks really good at the top of that. Look at that. Of course, now that is going to spread out.
Oh, hopefully.
Yeah, it's spreading already.
Spreading, you ready, Freddie?
Some silicone was put in there. So as it dries, we should see some cells pop up out of it.
Yeah.
You going to move this back and forth now? Or are you just going to leave it?
Your cups are going to fall.
Yeah, I have a feeling this paint is going to fall off.
I think we need to tilt it just a little bit. I got a bunch of mess over here, though.
Okay, so here we go, tilting it. This is really going to move, I think, because it's on paint. Oh, look at that. They're real pretty. Look at that. It's amazing, because even after you think you're done, and you set your painting down to let it dry, the paint is still moving a little bit, and you come back and it's different from what you had seen. I like this more than the background. I really like this. That's really pretty. That's funny how most of the red and yellow stayed on this side, and then most of the blue came on the other side. You never know what you're going to get with the pour, and that's one of the really great things. It's always a surprise.
It's a Forrest Gump.
You never know what you're going to get. Except I do, because if I get chocolate, I always cut all the pieces in half. That way I don't eat the ones I don't like. I truly expected this to slide more easily. I'm kind of surprised at this. It's going very slow. I tried this once on one of those like 50-cent notebooks, and it came out really good, except next time I would gesso the cover first, because it was cardboard and it kind of absorbed a lot of the paint. But I would definitely try that again. It's getting a lot large too. You can see it's much larger than when it was first put on there. Okay, we're back, and here's what it looks like so far. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I really expected this paint to just like practically run off the canvas, and it didn't. I was surprised. The paint is really thick on here. It is going to take a day or two to dry. Yeah. Actually, that's getting like some of that green to be sort of toned down a bit.
Yeah.
So that looks a little better, I think. I mean, that green is okay. It looks like dark olive green, and even though I like green, that's like not my favorite color at all. What do you think?
Yeah.
It's hard. We were talking the other day, and I was saying one of the hardest things is to know when you should stop. And I have that problem a lot. I'll continue to want to fuss with a painting, and then I'm sorry. The first time I say that's enough, I should just stop and put it away. I guess for now, at least, we'll leave this to dry, and then we can show it to you again once it has dried.